back to Tech Mac. So today what I'm going to do is go back on some GitHub stuff that I did. I do have some questions from maybe some students and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is let's dive right into it. So we're going to use GitHub. So the first thing you'll have to do is you have to make a GitHub account, etc., etc. So here's my GitHub account. So now, the first thing you want to do is you want to make the new repository, of course. And once we make that new repository, I'm just going to call it Tech Mac API. Okay? So we have the Tech Mac API. I'm going to make mine private. I'm going to have a README file. I'm going to have a git ignore file. I'm not going to have a license file. Also, the main branch will be set as they don't do master anymore. So the main branch will be set as the main branch, the actual main branch, production branch. So what I'm going to do is let's give it a description. So there's a couple things we're going to have to do as well. So, and let's do that. Let's just give it a description. We're going to do a template. I'm going to put it in Kotlin, a Kotlin template, because that's what one of my projects have. So have a project ready or some files ready. This is just to show how to get going. So we create that repository. And so this is the surface of your repository. So what you can do is you can explore some different things. The particular thing that I want you going to is actually going over to your account, and we want to go to let's go to settings. So right here, this is why and this is a prerequisite: install Git Bash. Okay, because what you want to do is never use HTTPS for your Git repositories. I feel it's unsecure. I like to use SSH keys. So one thing you have to do to generate your SSH key here is you have to generate your SSH key and then put your public key in here. And it gives you the instructions here on how to do it. So what I usually do is in my Git Bash, and this is Windows, you can do the SSH keygen. I think it's SSH keygen. And you can, and it'll actually make your key for you. But I'm not going to make another key because I already have this key enrolled. So once you make that, I usually do a -t, and then I do like a RSA, so and such, I think like 256. Once that's done, what you can actually do is you can cat your public key. This is the key that you need to put out here. So it's going to be something like this. You do a tilde, slash, and then you're going to do a .ssh, and then .id, let's do a tab, and you want the .pub, which is right here. You want to copy the contents of your .pub, and this is enrolling your device, okay? So we do a ID, RSA, I hit tab, .pub, and what you want to do is you want to copy this right here, and let's clear it. You want to copy that public key to this right here and give it a name, okay? Once you generate that key. Don't do your private key. You want the .pub key to give access and enroll your device into using this. So this is going to make it where it does it for all your repositories. I'm going to hit the back button. And once you get that done, now let's get started with getting our code into this repository. So what I have here is, if we go to our Visual Code, let's just take, just go over to our Visual Code, and we're going to take a look at the project that we have, which if we go here as well, I already have it ready. So this is this project right here. I just want to show some contents inside of the project. So see how we got the API application. Let's use that as our benchmark. Okay. So now, what we want to do is when we go over to here, we want to grab the initial, we want to do a clone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my SSH. I'm not going to do it the easy way, which is, this is the easy way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this right here. So I'm going to copy this right here. And I'm going to cd behind a directory. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a git clone and that text that I pasted. So if you go over here and click code and you click SSH and click the clone right here, it gives you this right here. You can do a -B for branch, which is main. I want that main branch, but since we only have one branch, we're going to grab that default main branch. Okay, so let me do this. All right, so now let's go and take a look. So now we have that tech dim mac. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into, we can do this two ways. Okay, we can go backwards. We can take, whoops. We can do this two ways, okay? And let me explain a little bit on let's go to API. Let me explain a little bit how this works. So when we cd into the tech dim mac, you're gonna notice a few files. That upper directory don't mean anything. What means something is these files right here. So we can do two different things. We can take these files right here and copy them over to that API directory, or we can copy the API directory files over to us. So what matters is this right here, this directory right here, but every time you do a pull down, it will not say API. It'll give you the tech dim mac API folder. But in order to get this going, and so you won't have to keep switching, so you won't have to take your Visual Studio and switch it to a different directory, what we can do is, so see how we got this right here? And see, there's no Git right here. Now watch this. So if I take this, if I take a copy -rf, and this is because I can use the Linux subsystem, I do a star, and then I copy this over to the API folder. All right. So now, if we go over here, we might see if we refresh this. Let's see. Let's go. Let's make sure it copied over first. So let's go back. Let's make sure it copied over. Copied over everything. And look at that. Hold on. Okay. Let's make sure. Okay. So let's go backwards and kill this. We'll do cd /. And then might have went too far. Let's go API, and then it's another API, and we do this right here. See, now we got all those files in there. Let's do an lslrt, and this beats doing a different way. This is the easiest way. I feel it's easy, especially if you're a beginner. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a git add all. So what's going to happen is it's going to add all of these files, and it's going to read the Git directory that you see. So let me do a lslrta. Make sure you got that Git directory. Which we don't see that Git directory, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a copy. We got our git ignore and all of that. So let's do a copy, and I'm going to go backwards into the tech dim mac, and I'm going to get the star.git, and then I'm going to move it over to here. Okay, so move it to here, and this is a folder, so I'm gonna do a copy -rf as well, and let's see if it grabs that folder for us. All right, so look at that. Now it turned into main. You see how now it says main on it? Let's see if up here, see, it never said main here, but now it says main after we did that copy, but I didn't see that. See, and this happened after the .git, so now you can see that it's in that main branch now. So now all we have to do is do a git add, and this is how you add the files. You add the files to the local repository, and then you push the files to the remote repository. So we do a git add all, and this is just because we want all the files. And then your git ignore tells what files to ignore. All right. So we do a git add all. So we add all our files, and then we do a git commit. Now the commit is so you can put a message to the file, to your commit, whatever you're pushing. So this is that message that you see when you look into the Git repo and you see the files. So see how it says initial commit? That's what this message is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do an initial commit to. And so now what I'm gonna do is this is gonna test to see if my setup works with my key and all of that. So I'm gonna do a git push. All right, so that's a good sign right there. That means my SSH key is working. So if I go over to here, now if we take a look, we have everything here. See? So now everything is in a repository. Now, we have one branch. Let's talk about making a different branch, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna say I have everything I want, and I made some changes, but I didn't commit them. Or I want to start some new changes in a different branch. So I can do a git branch, and I can say feature / test. All right. And then the next command we're going to do is we're going to do a git checkout. So this is here. So this is locally. So let's do a git checkout. Actually, we can do something like this. Let's check it. Oops. Hung a little bit. This is why I don't really like using I like using the subsystem, but it gets kind of slow a bit sometimes. Let's see. All right. So let's do a clear, and then let's do a git branch. So see, now I got that new branch out there. This is my local branch. Now if you notice, this branch is not up here yet. So if we go backwards to here, we got to push that branch upstream. But usually before I push a branch upstream, what I want to do is make my changes and everything. So let's switch over to the branch. So the star means that what branch you're in. So let's switch over to this branch. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a git checkout. Let's do a git checkout, and we're going to name that branch. Check this branch out. Oh, didn't like that. Didn't copy it for me. So it'll be feature / test, and we're going to check that branch out. So see how we switched branch, and this is only local right now. So let's do a clear, and let's do a git branch again. I should have waited for it to finish, but I don't care. There we go. So now we're in that branch. So now over here, watch this. You see how it says main right here? Watch this. That .git folder matters to everything, because when you switch anywhere you switch, it's going to switch here and here. So if I go here and say I switch back over to main, now watch this. So let's wait for it to switch back over to main. So now watch this. See, it's back in main now. So we can switch either way. So I can go and do the checkout here. So that means that when you do your applications and you hook your applications to this, you can switch between branches. Okay? So now let's keep this moving along. And so if I go here and let's say, let's do a small little change or something like that. Let's see what kind of change I want to do. Let's put some comments in here. I'm going to put new feature. And I'm going to save this. Okay. So now what you can do is if you're using Visual Studio, you can click on the source control right here. And you can, right here is where those comments go for the commit. And it'll show you what files you have changed. So it takes a minute to load. Let's do this. Switch back and forth. Let's pull this out. See how we got modify right here now? And see how it is here. This is the file we changed. So we can do this. We can actually commit this file or whatever changes we did to this file here, or we can commit it here. So let's go through the command line first. Okay. So I'm gonna do a commit all because I didn't run no builds or anything like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a git add and I'm gonna say all. And see, it pulled that file automatically because it knew that change. There's only one file. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a git commit. And this is the biggest part right here. It's going to ask me, do I want to push it upstream? And I'm going to say, it'll ask you this in Visual Code as well. But we're going to do it the hard way so you understand how this works in command line. Started new feature. And so watch this. When I try to do my git push, it's going to give me a message because this branch is not remotely. It's not upstream. What I mean by upstream is it's not in the past, the platform as a service, which is this right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a git push. So watch this. So see right here, all you do is take this. They give you the command that you need to run. Alright, so you don't really have to remember it unless something changed in the version of Git you have. And we can push this upstream. See how it pushed everything upstream now? Now watch this. See that? It found it. That's the branch. The branch we just pushed up there. So what I can do is go and switch over to this branch now. And look at that. Start a new feature because that was one of the files in this folder is what changed. Okay? So if I go here, see, right here, it shows me what that change is. Let's go into that folder, and this is the actual one into the folder. Then it shows me what file has changed, and what it was, and what I added. Okay. So now, and we can also look at the history as well. So this was that initial commit. See. Which that was the initial commit. But down here, if you go all the way up, I believe, let me see, where's that file at? We're in main, that's why. We need to switch our branch again. So let's switch back to the test branch. And then we can go into here, and we can take a look at this. Alright, so let's see something. So if we go and look at, we added a new feature here, that should be there. Should be. So let's see something. I wonder, do it, let's look at the raw. Yeah, it looked like it didn't. This is the test. This is why. This is that test, the test folder. We don't want to be in test. We want to go over to main. There we go. There we go. I was going crazy for a second. And there it is right there. Alright. So now, if we go to look over here, we do a refresh. And we can do a refresh and pull this down. And if you go over to, see, I have a Git graph. So we can go and look at the Git graph on this thing. And it's going to show you what I've been showing you for a while, where this comes out as a new branch. And then now let's talk about getting a merge request in there. So since, you know, we may be beginners and I want my merge request to, or pull request to be through a process. So if I go over to pull request and I do a new pull request, and I want, see how we got main going to main? What we want is we want feature test to go into main now, which is that base branch. And this is the difference of the whole thing. So we're merging the features here, and this into main, and the feature test is what takes priority. So what I mean by priority is what copy do we want it to take, or what changes we want it to take. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a pull request, and you can say anything like, hey, check this out. Really, in the real world, you wouldn't say, hey, check this out. You might give some context to the change, okay? Hey, check this out. And I can create the pull request. And whoever you've, like, if you're the admin of your account, then you can set yourself to where no matter what happens when people fork or try to push things up, they have to get your approval in order to merge it into production. So see, it shows the new file changes. You can put conversation out here, and I say, okay, everything looks good. So I can say, looks good to me. Okay? And I can comment there. And what I can do is I can merge, confirm the merge. Okay? And once we confirm the merge, we can delete the branch because we don't want it to go, we don't want any stale branches. So what I usually do is delete the stale branches, but let's keep it out here for now. I usually wait about 30 days. Okay? Also, you do have a revert feature too, where you can revert those features. If you get to a point where you can't necessarily revert, you can cherry pick. Which cherry picking is you take a certain commit and pull it out, or a certain amount of commits with tags and pull those out. So you can go and make tags and cherry pick just those tags out of the entire source control. So now if we go over to here and we do a refresh, we should see a change. You see that? See, when we pulled away from the timeline of the main branch, which is some new features, and then we pushed it back into the timeline, which is the head. Okay? And so that's how this whole thing works. And then show you how important that .git file is. Let's try this. Let's go over to, let's kill this. Let's kill this. And let's take something like, we use, let's say source tree. So I install source tree. It's a little off screen. And I just want to show you that all these programs read that .git file folder, and it's going to show the same results. If built properly, it's going to show the same results when you make one change somewhere else, one change in different spots. So like if I was to add a new tab, and let's search for a repository. So I want to add a repository. Let's go to the path. Alright, so what I'm going to do is go here, and I am going to go to, let's see, it was called API. That's what it was called. See if I can find it. Let's go here and take a look. So it's on my G drive. Okay. Let's go down to my G drive, and let's go to API here. Let's go to API again, and let's select this folder right here. So see, this is the root folder. We add it, and then we just watch the fireworks. So see, like right here, where my local main is behind. So this is where you come in and you do the pull request. You can do it in two ways. You can do a git pull here, or you can do a git pull over here. So let's do it in the command line. So say someone else has a stale local branch and they're not upstream, okay? So we can do a git branch, and we can say main. And see how that says 2? That means that it's behind two commits. I mean, well, 2 changes or 2 commits. So let's do a git checkout main. Okay. So now you see how it says, okay, we're behind 2 commits. So let's do a git pull. This is very important. Always do a git pull before you start working on something. So now after we do the git pull, just to show how everything works, watch this number right here. Look at that. It's up to date now. Your local copy is up to date. So in here, this is your local copy, and then this is the copy that's in the cloud or on your pass. Now this right here is stashes. So if you stash some work where you want to put it away and then pull down the latest copy, and then bring the stash batch out, this is where your stashes would be. This is where your tags would be right here, so on and so forth. So also you can see that history. Let's look at it side by side. See, it kind of looks the same. And then watch this. Watch this. See how we're on main? See how that switched over to main? Watch me do this. I'm going to switch back over to feature test, which is an old branch now. Now watch this. It should go back to here. See? So that's how that directory controls everything. Now everything reads that directory constantly. All right. So that's all I have for the basics to Git source control. Hopefully that helps you get started. That helps you work as a team where you have a main branch and people are making features, and then they bring those features back into the main branch, and then they get pushed out for a release. I hope that helps out. Thank you. That's all I have.